Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the American Pop Culture Series channel. So, the ladies of The View today opened up with a segment that was discussing the Trump administration and their decision to cut the air traffic at 40 key airports, which is huge, um, especially because this is the time of year where people are traveling the most, right? So, Thanksgiving and Christmas are our two most traveled holidays within this country. It's a time where a lot of college students are on break, right? They come home. People are flying to, see family and friends and loved ones across the country. So it's unfortunate that one, this is the longest US government shutdown in history, and two, that we've had so many people out of work, not being paid due to the shutdown, and it's just been really difficult. It's just been a difficult, you know, past 11 months since Trump has come into office. It has not been smooth sailing. I feel like almost every single, major department um, within our country has just been either completely changed, right? So they changed the, Secretary of Defense and Department of Defense to now Department of War, to Sean Duffy from The Real World, um, just basically saying that, he heard that people who are missing checks, it's really difficult. Like, yeah, Sean, people who work without pay, one, that's the definition, the very definition of slavery, but two, it's demoralizing, right? Like, let's take for a second that people have to, you know, it's hard enough trying to go to work for a paycheck, right? But imagine spending, the time to get ready, the gas and, the food and just, all these different things, right? Um, to get ready to go to a job that that you're not going to get paid for. It's just, I can't even imagine. So I'm hoping that one of the good things that comes out of this administration, seeing the results of the most recent election on Tuesday, that was a Democratic sweep, they will make some changes. That this is a wake up call for the Republican Party, right? And like I've said, countless times, but for those of you who are new, welcome. I am not a Republican, nor am I a Democrat. I'm a registered independent. I have voted for Republicans in the past. I have voted for Democrats in the past, and also, of course, independents. But I feel like this term is a lot different than the first Trump term. And Joy was saying that she really feels that the almost the objective of this term and this Trump administration is to literally, like dismantle the airport system and the travel system. And of course, Alyssa, she says she's her and her husband, because she's pregnant. So they said that they are going to forego her flying to Florida, and so she disagreed with Joy. She says that I respectfully disagree, but they are taking precautions, right, to make sure that they don't fly. And I was on TikTok earlier, and a lot of flight attendants and people who work at the airports are actively discouraging the public from flying. One, it's not safe, but two, you know, um, one of the flight attendants said, she spends the majority of her job just kind of apologizing for the delays because so many people are calling off work or calling in sick because they're not getting paid. I mean, that just makes sense. So it's unfortunate, but I'm hopeful that, like I said, Tuesday was a wake up call, and they will be able to find some kind of bipartisan resolution and open the government back up very soon. Nancy Pelosi has announced her retirement. So after nearly 40 years in Congress, which is astronomical, um, she is going to retire. I'm absolutely here for it. One of the things Alyssa said, she said that, she didn't always agree with Nancy's policy, right? Because they're from two different political parties, but she respected her as a woman leader. She commanded a room. And so I wish her all the best in her retirement. And, she did break glass ceilings as the first woman Speaker of the House, and she also knew when it was time to pass the baton on to Hakeem Jeffries. And that's one thing that I feel like a lot of other boomers, people in her generation, she might be in the silent generation, I don't know, but older people, right, in general, can learn to pass the baton to younger generations that are coming up behind them. I feel like that's so necessary and important, especially, during an economy where a lot of people are losing their jobs. So, congratulations to Nancy Pelosi on her retirement. I hope that her husband is doing a lot better. You guys remember that he was attacked, unfortunately. So, I hope that they can both kind of ride out into the sunset and enjoy all of the money that she um, gained while she was in Congress through her stock portfolio, her very diversified, lucrative stock portfolio. Um, the guest on the show was Padma um, Limshi. I think that's how you say her last name. But she wrote a new cookbook, and Padma's All American, and she says that it's a love letter to immigrants. So the ladies were really happy that she had the food out, and she was just saying that this country essentially is a melting pot, and a lot of people have come from all over the world, and have taken a part of their definition or a part of the American dream, right? And so her dream is to travel the world and write cookbooks, and she's been doing that for a very long time. And she was a former model, and now she is a cookbook author, and I am looking forward to. I probably will check her book out from the library, but she said that she has different drinks there. She said, and that they said it was hot, it was spicy, so she added some spices to the drink. And Joy was, she said that at nighttime or whenever they're having like a late night cocktail, they'll add vodka or whatever. And Joy's like, oh, is there alcohol in it? And she's like, no, because it's a morning show, it's a daytime show. And so Joy's like, I don't want it. I thought that was hilarious. But then she's talked, told stories about like her mother with the couscous, that she didn't have all the, essential cooking utensils that she needed, but she cooked with love and used what she had. And so, she made couscous there like her mom did. And she also had, just all kind of different stories. She incorporated her daughter, she said is biracial. Her daughter's mixed. And so she chose to like have half of the dish South Asian with the spice to represent her, and the other half to be kind of mild to represent her daughter's father. So I just thought it was it was really nice that she incorporated all of not only the family elements but just her own story that she tells through food. I feel like food is one of those things that's a universal language. It brings everyone together. That's some of people's best memories, right? Gathering together around a table. As we know in our country here, Thanksgiving is coming up. So I'm hoping, like I said, that the government can come together and bring SNAP benefits or bring some kind of aid to people. I know a lot of people are struggling right now with just the cost of groceries continuously going up. And they said that the food pantry lines are getting really long, and it's sad, right? Because it's essentially like a lot of children and elderly and people who essentially can't go out and earn a living. So I like this episode a lot with the ladies. I feel like they all did well. There was no arguments or anything like that. I mean, of course, Alyssa said she respectfully disagreed with Joy in terms of the airline, but I mean, this is essentially a Republican shutdown. I know as much as they want to blame the Democrats, but they do have the power to, meet the Democrats where they are so they don't take away, all these people's health care and meet them in the middle to have some kind of, bipartisan resolution. And I hope that they can do so sooner rather than later because, again, like I said, the holidays are coming up. People do want to travel with their loved ones. People do want to eat, full Thanksgiving dinners and Christmas dinners with their loved ones. So hopefully they can get that resolved quickly. But Congratulations to all of the ladies. Congratulations to Nancy Pelosi on her retirement. You guys let me know your thoughts on today's show. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk with you later. Take care, guys. Bye.